chance of getting cell service throughout the town. It's been a year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a larger audience now that's more actively involved.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that we can put a petition, maybe we can get some headway with those people.
Well,
I mean, we do have about 3 or 4 sites that are possible that could cover the
I
rest
can
of the
call S and J or whatever, John, or, yeah, call them and see if there's interest in putting us, getting a cell tower site.
town. I mean, you ride through town and it's so spotty,
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous, in these remote areas,
Yeah,
you know. I mean, I'm not just pushing it for my site, I mean,
Right,
I would say, you know what I propose,
yep,
but
yep,
it's still there, but, let the company pick the best site that would help.
what they might
the
want
whole
to
town,
develop.
you know.
Is this not a cell tower right outside here?
Yes, it
Yeah,
is.
but it doesn't cover, it just covers the town.
Doesn't have treadwell or anything.
Yeah.
Treadwell has no service.
Oh,
We
cell
have no
tower
ser- We're
will-
up on 21, we have no
No
service.
service.
Okay, Tony?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody over the weekend from the Ag Council,
Oh,
and they
okay.
said one of the things going against buying the Treadwell School is that there's no cell service, for whatever it's
Right,
worth.
right. Well, I can call the people we dealt with on the one here. They didn't put this one up as high, well, they didn't want to go too high with it. So it does, it's spotty service, I guess.
Is it T-Mobile, AT&T?
AT&T, I believe is what it is. Is that right, Paul?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm not sure why nobody else wants to come on it.
The other tower in Franklin has both AT&T
The one in North
and
Frankfurt.
Verizon on Scasendes.
Okay, Mike?
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'm available, I talked to him last time,
Right,
he
like,
could give us 2 years,
oh, okay,
and it's a year now.
yep,
I don't know, if, more activities in the town itself besides,
right,
I guess he's probably talking to you and me.
right. Well, I haven't talked to him again, so I got his phone number, I can call him, or you can call him too, and whatever, we can try to rattle his chain and see if there's anything,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
there's any response.
honestly, it would help.
Would it help if some of
Well, they
the-
would be able to tell you.
Right.
I mean, I had an engineer, because I have the highest point in town, so sometimes it just doesn't go by, site, they have to explain it, but that's what I was understood for years, that, if you have the highest point, it'll cover the maximum area,
Right.
The cell tower company is gonna wanna place their tower on municipal land. They're not gonna wanna place it on individuals' land anymore.
Well, that's why my proposal was, I would work a deal out and give back to the town for certain programs.
Yeah, but that doesn't adhere, I mean, when we did the cell tower here, they
It's
wanted
municipal.
to, they wanted
The
to
second
deal
one
with,
isn't municipal.
no, the second one isn't, it's private.
Right, I mean,
So-
my tower would probably knock that tower out,
Uh-huh,
you know.
good, because I don't think cell towers are they're only good for 3 to 5 miles,
Mhm.
possibly.
I never got that answer out of him. I mean, you could be correct.
I mean, I don't know, that's, somebody had said, I don't know if that's true or not.
That's what he said.
That's
That's what Chip said,
Oh, it is.
Staley.
Okay, so I really don't know.
Did you say that?
That's when Paul was involved with the cell tower here, and he said that Jeff
Yeah,
Staley,
Probably only about 2 miles from Treadwell.
right, so I mean, I don't know, that's, something to ask too. How far are they good for or whatever, because Casendes, realistically, coming down to the village, they should have service in the village, because Casendes is really, straight line up to the tower. There's no mountains between here and there, really. So there should be service here, and if there isn't, then maybe it doesn't only go so far.
Right.
But
I know it would help a lot of that currently doesn't have any.
right, okay,
So
Mike.
Case Hill and over, if you're on top of Case Hill, do you pick up
Yeah, actually, there
Scasendes Tower?
is an existing tower there already. The
Okay,
little
so-
tower that somebody put up there in the seventies.
Oh, yeah, on your property,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, next? Yes,
Is there
Bill.
going to be a decision about engineering studies on the roads?
Not tonight. I talked to the lawyer today, and myself and one of the town board members are meeting with the lawyer and Delta on Friday at 11 o'clock. Just to go over some concerns the lawyer has with it. That's, she thought it'd be, she'd like to have some input. She has, I don't think she's worked with Delta. Maybe she said she has done some work with them, but she's got some concerns, about, what their proposal was. So we are going, I'm going, and I haven't, so I was gonna ask one of the, because I just set it up, actually this morning.
Yeah.
I talked to the lawyer, and I talked to Delta today too. They called me back today.
You'll be going to see him on Friday.
Gonna go down at 11 o'clock on Friday, the meeting, instead of having her come up here and spend more money, we'll spend our gas, go down and visit with her at her office. But it can only be one of the board members. So, but that's what's going on with the road use agreement, or, with Delta.
Thank you.
I call, let's see, Tuesday. God, maybe I did it all yesterday. I called Cheryl, and she said she would be available the end of this week or next week or whatever. And so we're going, got the appointment made for 11 o'clock on Friday. Yes?
So what's the alternative if you don't go with Delta?
It's not really much alternative. She has some concerns she wants to get some answers to. She doesn't know if she's not fully behind it. She knows somewhat what Delta does, I believe. And she just got some concerns. She'd like to ask questions of the Delta representative. And instead of paying her to come up here to a presentation in front of the board, and spending an hour travel time up and an hour travel time down, and an hour here or whatever, I felt it was, it's the board's decision, so it'd be something that I can, or if two of the board members want to go, they can go too, and I'll stay home. But two people from the town board will go on Friday to sit with a lawyer and a representative from Delta to discuss the road use agreement, what they're proposing.
We're trying to work out something mutually agreeable.
Well, if there's concerns, ask questions. How do you handle this, or how do you do this? I haven't been there. I don't know what the questions are going to be, or what the answers are going to be, and that's what this hour-long meeting is going to be for, is to, maybe answer some questions. She's got some concerns, so I guess I'd like to hear what her concerns are and hear what the answers are, and I guess more in depth.
We're running short of time.
We might be. I don't know. I don't know if we are or not. You know more than I do. Then when are they starting?
They say September, end
Oh.
of September, but we've heard so many times that they've been wrong, so.
Well, yep. I don't know. You seem to know the facts, so we'll listen to you. Okay. Next, is that all, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. Next. Yes.
There's supposed to be, I don't know whether there is or not, is there any watershed people here tonight?
No.
No. Well, they're supposed to be over here from Walton, and I don't know why they aren't here.
Oh, okay.
Because they want to talk to you about the cell phone, the tower.
Mm-hmm.
They are thinking about maybe taking the school over.
Right. Yep.
And so they want to talk to you about the tower, or, about a tower and why they can't get one up there and all that business, but they're not here tonight, so.
Right.
I
Well,
don't know
then
why-
maybe they're still on their way, Ralph.
Huh?
Then maybe they're still on their way. We're not leaving yet, so
Yeah.
if they're not here by the time we're done, I
Well,
guess
no,
I'll miss them.
I told them, you all be here by 7 o'clock, the meeting
Oh.
starts at 7:30,
Okay.
and you better be there around 7 if you want a good parking spot.
Well,
But they're not here.
Okay, well, we'll leave it open for it anyway. You know, if
Okay.
they do show up, I'm sure we can fit them in.
Okay. thank
Okay.
you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, next. Mike, you've already, okay, yes, sir.
My name is Dennis Higgins. I live over the hill in Otsego. Last month, there was some discussion about compressors, and the supervisor had asked for something from the EPA. So I found you something from the EPA. It was 50 pages long. I only printed half.
Oh, okay.
It only concerns itself with methane emissions, not other emissions
Not
from
other
compressors. But there's 50 pages of it, and it talks about how they estimate it and where the emissions are coming from for methane only. And there's lots of documentation out on the internet. Here's a one-page document that I found also. It also only speaks to methane losses from compressor stations. And so in just a few sentences, you can see there are currently about 1,600 compressor stations in the US. There are about 9,000 compressors inside these stations. About 50 billion cubic feet per year is lost from compressor fugitives. And so it's a one-page document which talks only about methane. And if I could have the privilege of the floor for just another minute, I had a
You got 3 minutes, so you're got lots of time.
I had a letter to the editor in the Daily Star 6 weeks ago or so, where I spoke to the Kinder Morgan compressor. And I'll just excerpt from it. Franklin's going to get 30,000 horsepower. That's 100 diesel trucks running full tilt 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. To keep the gas in the line pressurized, also cool the gas. Both processes subject equipment to stress. Vibration and heat produce cracks on seals and flanges. Corrosive compounds and particulate matter in the gas degrade components. Stress leads to component failure, leaks, fires, and explosion. Emissions from pipelines and compressor stations include BTEX, benzene, toluene, ethyl benzene, and xylene, formaldehyde, hydrogen disulfide, methane, pentane, pentene, butane, propane, carbon monoxide, and sulfur dioxide. I didn't bother listing carbon dioxide. These cause cancer, respiratory problems, increased childhood mortality, learning defects, male reproductive problems, and mental illness. Otsego Elementary School will be downwind of your compressor, so will Oneonta be. In January 2013, testing showed that the Bartow compressor station in Pennsylvania, in Penn Township, PA, was creating pollution concentrations nearly 3 times the amount allowed under the federal health-based air quality standards. And I have a URL citation for that. For example, the compressor station caused nitrogen dioxide pollution 278% over the national ambient air quality standard. The oil and gas industry tells us what they do is safe. They have a century of experience doing it. The fact remains that there are thousands of documented cases of leaks and explosions at well sites, in gas lines, and at compressor stations. Catskill Citizen posts a listing of a few compressor stations, explosions, and fires, some of which caused injury, evacuations, or death. 14 in just 2 years, from November 2011 to November 2013. So I wanted to leave these 3 documents with you. I also wanted to compliment the supervisor. I saw you at the scoping hearing.
Okay.
And I think the citizens of Franklin should be proud to have seen you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Gene.
First, I want to thank you, Jeff, for your comments at the FERC scoping hearing, expressing concern about toxic emissions from the, as you know, many of us here in this room are also concerned about that. And I would like to suggest, unfortunately, that FERC isn't going to do anything about that, because FERC's job, FERC are paid by the oil and gas company, application fees, and that's what they do. They got rubber stamp proposals, and they don't demand very much of the companies. And now, as I understand it, one of the things that we can do to protect ourselves as a community is to pass an air quality ordinance. And there are several ways of getting this done. The National Resources Defense Council apparently will provide free advice to do this, but they give you a kind of form ordinance. It's also possible that we could do, not the town, but those of us who are concerned about it could do a fundraising and try and raise money for a private lawyer who would so that the town budget wouldn't have to support it, who would draw up a specific ordinance that's tailored to the needs of this town. I'd like to renew also the offer of engaging citizens who are interested in this to help research these issues, because I know you guys are already full-time farms and other projects, and you know, you may not have the time to do this, and there's some of us who are eager and willing to participate in this process and help you out if we can.
Well, I appreciate everything you've given us. I mean, you know, sometimes, you know, it's given 3-4 times, but, you know, you do give us a lot of information as far as I'm concerned.
And I have one more thing. This in the town of Dish, Texas, they had the mayor, Calvin Tillman, was up here several years ago and spoke here. I think you were at one of the. Were you? I have a vague memory. I
don't think I was at the one in Walton at the theater with the speaker from Cornell.
Oh yeah, okay.
One of the early.
So I don't know if it was that one. My memory's getting vague too. But anyway, in Dish, when he was still the mayor of Dish, they have a whole lot of compressors there, all much smaller than the one we're going to get here. But they were worried about the air because everybody was getting sick in town and getting lesions on their skin and everything. And it's from just these the chemicals that Dennis just recited the list of. So they went and did they hired an industrial environmental research company and to do a report. And I'd like to give you that report. It's from 2009, but it gives you a pretty vivid picture of the way a town can be affected by just the chemicals coming out of this. So I'd like to leave that with you.
Well, this is before I forget this. I've been doing some figures and not a lot of research, I guess not yet. I've gone over some of the research you have given me. But this 30,000 horsepower, Dennis, you said it's equivalent to 100 trucks going up 88, the emissions, which I've talked to truckers, and most trucks are 400 horsepower or more. So it's more like 75 or less trucks, horsepower-wise. Now, my question is, if natural gas is cleaner, and I did say if, which everybody says it seems to be a cleaner burning fossil fuel.
As far as CO2 is concerned.
As far as, and if it's out of the ground, now does it also have some of these poisonous particles in the fuel, also in the diesel fuel? Because this pipeline is going to take the place of between 6,000 and 7,000 tractor trailer loads a day of gas going up 88. Because you got supply endemic or Pennsylvania to the Wants, which is Schoharie. So the 650 million cubic feet, which Brian, you might know more about this. How many gallons are in a cubic foot?
You can't compare the two.
No, I know, but
one's gas and one's a liquid.
Okay, then what do you?
I mean, you'd have to compare it on the basis of energy. That I don't know.
BTUs.
BTU, but volume, I'm saying what a truck would haul, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, but I think we're confounding two different things here. You're talking about the emissions from a truck and the emissions from a compressor, not from running the compressor, but from the chemicals that are passing through it.
Right, no, it is emissions, and I understand this. But what would the emissions be from an additional 7,000 trucks running up 88? Would that be comparable to the compressor station or greater? That's just, I'm a figures person, I love figures. So, I mean, I'm just saying, if there's 650 million cubic feet in this pipeline, and that's without a compressor. I'm not saying I'm for the compressor, but moving the gas through the pipeline from supply to demand is 650 million cubic feet. And there's no emissions only in Pennsylvania and in Schoharie. Okay? You shut that pipeline down, don't have the pipeline, and all of a sudden there's gas, going to Fraser's right now, a trail load a day of the natural gas is under 4,000 pounds pressure in small individual tanks. They're using a trail load a day. So there's bombs running over the road.
Yeah, we know that.
You know, so, but, that, I mean, you want more of those instead of having it pumped under the ground. I mean, just as comparisons. I mean, I'm just going for figures.
Here, what I'm proposing here is that we pass an ordinance,
Mhm.
that requires the company to bring those emissions, toxic emissions from a compressor station,
Yep.
down to levels that will not harm
Okay,
people.
you're, you're gonna implement.
That's very different from what
You're
used to-
implementing something that hasn't happened at all.
What
And
has
right now, in some of the newsletters that have been sent out, it's saying, you know, how can you not, you know, something about the tax exemptions that the farmers had in zoning, how can you not implement zoning, 1,000-foot setback and stuff? Which if there has not been an application for a project, how can the planning board say yes or no to it? How can zoning, how can the building inspector answer that question without an application for a project?
But here, this is just to protect our air, just to protect, no matter what project
No
may come
matter
through.
whether the compressor here is not.
Or not, it would just protect the air, it doesn't have to, I'm not saying we're gonna protect it from
Well, yeah, but you-
bad breath.
yeah.
We're talking about industrial emissions of,
Right,
you know, of this particular kind.
yep.
This wouldn't cost us anything.
Okay. Thank you, Gene. Do you want to give me that, or were you going to give me the information?
No, I just gave you the,
Oh, yes, you found it,
the
yes.
Texas one.
Yes, thank
Yeah, I'd
you.
like to leave you this one as well.
And that's